video of it. We have a great donor that's in Seattle that can't be here that wants to see our speeches. So I think I said last year that I couldn't memorize my speech because I had a 6-month-old. Well, now I have a 16-month-old, and it's way harder to memorize a speech when you have a 6. I should have memorized it last year because it would have been possible. This year it was impossible. So I'm going to read off the paper. I'll try to look up as often as I can. Thank you guys all so much for coming. A lot of you are long-term supporters, familiar faces, people that mean a lot to us. So it's honestly, those are the people we want to see all the time. We love having new faces, and we're excited to see any new faces that are out there. But we really, really appreciate the people that have been there year after year and continue to support us personally, and I hope, you know, all believe in the cause anyway. So we're happy you're all here on this weird rainy night, where at least Matt says we're not competing with the Stanley Cup, as we were last year, but we are competing with the weather.
Competing with the Stanley Cup.
Oh, we still are? Oh my God, Matt, we gotta... Wait, it was in June last year. The NHL is really screwing us over with their dates. You know, one thing I want to start with is, I'm sure most of you, the last thing you've probably heard about Kenya is there was a terrorist attack on April 2nd that killed 150 university students, which is obviously an enormous blow to a country. It would be, I mean, if you can imagine it happening here, it would be such a terrible thing. And the thing that kind of upsets us the most from our standpoint is that as an organization, we believe in the promise of this country, and university students represent the most promise in any country, because they're the people that are coming out educated, and they're going to change the place they live in. But it also represents the only news you hear about Kenya, and that's something that's really upsetting to us as an organization and to me personally, because this is a country that I think has amazing promise, and is something that is a country that matters a lot to me. So I don't want the only thing that everyone hears to be distraction by the 16-month-old. I don't want the only thing anyone hears to be negative news on Kenya. It's an aspiring country with tons of potential. There's no reason for that to be the only thing you hear about this country. There's plenty of other things happening. The place I live in is an amazing place to live, and is a place that isn't endangered by the recent terrorist attacks. But I do personally believe that someone must be in charge of this program.
That's not real.
I personally believe that education and a global connection is one of the things that helps us build a safer and more secure world for everyone. So I think as much as we regret the recent attacks and feel that we don't really know what to do about it besides send a positive message about Kenya, building these programs that we're building is the right way to go forward there. Last year I spoke about our goal to do more with less every year, which remains our goal 100%. We're trying to make efficient programs that dollar for dollar have as much impact as is possible. We are never stopping to work towards that goal. And on that note, I want to tell you that 2015 marks the first year we have no paid international staff members, myself included. This is the first year that I am not taking a salary from the ESC. I never took one that was comparable to a US salary, but it's a step in a direction that we feel is where development should go. In a minute, I'm going to tell you about the amazing Kenyans we have running our programs there, and it's something we've been working towards for a long time and feel really strongly about. So the fact that this year our budget has nothing to do with paying anyone that looks like me is really a positive thing. So that's our first really exciting thing from last year, which was a goal with last year's speech. Alessandra's going to tell you a little bit more about our fundraising after I speak, so I'll leave that to her. But, you know, just know overall with these programs, our goal is do more with less, get vibrant programming going with as little money as possible. I have the honor of living in Kenya. Everybody says to me, God bless you, when I tell them I live in Kenya. Judging by your weather in April, I don't really feel that, I feel God hopefully will be blessing you guys next year, because He has blessed me plenty with my life. And I get to watch the work of the EAC every day in my day-to-day life. I interact with our students, I know them, and I get to be there doing all this work, which I think is a real honor. I mean, personally, it's an honor for me to do it. So I'm excited to be here and be able to tell you that. The EAC works in really 3 facets. We're working on improving education for nursery and primary school students. We're trying to increase access to information about healthcare in the community that we work in. And we are trying to connect small community groups, which are very active in Kenya, to access to information and other resources on finances, grant writing, and other economic empowerment initiatives, which is a huge way. The Kenyan government, for all its faults, puts a lot of money aside. And if we're able to connect these small, tiny groups that have no idea how to write a grant to the money that's available, then on a very low budget, we've done some amazing work. We have a lot of programming that happens, and it's very comprehensive. So I just want to highlight a few key things, because I can't possibly tell you about everything we're doing in a 5-minute speech. You guys all know well, hopefully most of you know about our school, Budakaka Junior School, which is really the basis for most of our programming. At our school this year, we opened a 15 computer resource center, which sounds, I mean, they're desktop computers. They're refurbished from an amazing organization that provides computers for schools in Kenya. It is unbelievable to watch the kids walk into a 15 computer lab in Kenya. The computers are all connected to the internet, and they are installed, they have all these programs installed that allows the kids to do practice exams, practice any subject they want. It's this organization that provided them, supplies all the software, gets us connected to the internet, which in Kenya is a work in progress. Fiber optic is being dug. I mean, honestly, my water was cut off because the fiber optic was being dug. So it's a work in progress. We have internet, and the kids get access to this whole world. And the amazing thing is that their parents also get access to it, because we're opening up the lab on nights and weekends to offer basically income generating. They can go on the internet and pay as they do at a normal internet cafe, or they can take computer classes with us, which we're hoping to launch in this next term that's coming up, which will mean then the parents have access to all the, basically to everything we have access to here. Once you get online, you kind of get everything. So that's a really big, exciting thing. Another development this year that I'm excited about is the hiring of a Kenyan program coordinator. We had, as I wanted to step back and was allowed to step back, we had to hire a amazing young Kenyan to come in and take this role. And his name is Shedrack Mwandai. He's an unbelievable guy with a bachelor's in community development. So he's really well suited for this work in an administrative capacity. He works well with the school. He grew up about 20 minutes north of our school, so he's both accessible and a great role model for our kids, which is something that's really important. We were also able to promote our long-term deputy head teacher to head teacher in the wake of our former head teacher leaving, and that's just something that is really exciting for us, because we love building up staff that have been there with us for a long time. And Joseph's an exciting head teacher, because his long-term passions are with our environmental club, our farm club, and our science department. So he brings a lot of that into his head teacher role. And I think the most exciting thing for me is that these are Kenyans that grew up in situations similar to our students, but have gone on to get secondary and higher education from a very lower middle class background, and are able to come back to our school and show our students that it's possible for them to go on and for a very low amount of sponsorship, get enough education to enter that middle class and be a technologically savvy, employed, active individual in the world, which is what's really excites me about our new staff members. Our health programs continue to be vibrant. We work with women's groups, and particularly we highlight at-risk groups, which tend to be motorcycle taxi drivers, fishermen, any groups. I don't want to explain why they are high risk for HIV/AIDS, but any group that is either out of work or high risk for economic stress or HIV/AIDS, we work with them a lot to help them access finance, which is very readily available, but very hard to access for people that are poor and don't have enough education to be able to fill out an Excel budget on these things. So for me, that's where the EAC really comes in as an amazing low-cost organization, is that on a very small budget, we can connect people to these resources that are there, but completely inaccessible without somebody to help them connect. Another huge thing for me, and this will require a bit of explaining, but I think it's worth it, is that our students, through a grant funded by the Rotary Club and the American International Women's Club of Genoa, our 6th through 8th grade students were given a business class for a year, and then it culminated in a business plan competition where they all submitted their business plans, and it was judged by the Rotary Club in Kalifi, of which I'm a member of. So some professionals judged their plans, and the plan that won was the plan for the bakery, and through funding we're able to renovate our kitchen, provide safer stoves and more ventilated area, and also provide a small room for the bakery. The kids have already registered their business. It's called the Best Taco and Goo Bakery. So we're really excited. I know, so cute. They've already contracted. My son Calvin's school is an international school that's just over the creek from them. They've already agreed to buy their rolls on a weekly basis. So they're starting to build customers, and we think it's going to be an income generating activity for the school. We're going to let the kids decide how that money is used at their school for scholarships or for other operating expenses. But we're just really excited that the kids get that business knowledge so that whatever happens in the future of their education, they have the ability to write a business plan and start a business. And if you could see the looks on their faces when they got their business license from the council for the Best Taco and Goo Bakery, it was well worth it. And if they cover their costs, we'll be so excited for them. And we actually think they're going to do much better than that. So we're really, for me, that's a huge thing this year that happened. And we can't wait for them to launch. The big launch is May 15th, so hopefully you all get pictures on that. I could go on and on. We have stuff happening at our farm. We have more health stuff happening. But I think this gives you guys a good look into what we're doing in Taco and Goo. The pictures give a continuing look into our programs that have gone back the past 14 years. I think the community we work with contributes a lot to what we're doing. So when we're here and we're having these events in Darien, we need to raise enough to make what they're giving us worthwhile, and to make their contributions worthwhile, so that we can operate on a very low budget. And I'm going to turn it over to Alessandra, who's our amazing long-term board member, who's visited Taco and Goo, and will tell you a little bit more about the funding strategy that we're working on. I think we have nowhere in either of our speeches where we say our operating budget is less than $100,000 a year, and we run the whole school. We get the community's involvement, and it's a massively efficient way to give your money. So I'll turn it over to Alessandra, and hopefully she'll introduce you to some of our new stuff, and hopefully this was an exciting look at our programs.